We'll start with Tony St. James.
Jeff, at long last, Tyler Bertuzzi in the lineup. What do you expect? He plays such an in-your-face style. How do you think he'll?
Well, I mean, a week from now we play game one, so I expect him to play this game in a serious manner and get himself going. We'll see how tonight goes, and in terms of what tomorrow brings for Saturday. But I just think Bert plays Bert's game. Bert wins stick battles. Bert has the puck in the O-zone. Bert's hard around the net. Real smart defensively, and you just got to do what he does, get himself back into it.
We saw with Danny DeKeyser how long it can take, and he did have a bit more longer of a layoff between games, but you just kind of have to have realistic expectations for a while he gets up to full speed. I mean, you've talked about the difference in Danny between the start of last season and the end of last season.
Yeah, no, there was different, every surgery is different, and the lasting effects is different. And ultimately Danny, his strength in his legs was affected more than Tyler's is. So Danny's didn't have as much to do with rust as it had to do with really strength and power in his legs. And he took the time once we, sat him back out to build that back up, and he's worked hard at it, and he's closer to where he used to be. I don't think Bert's had nearly the same, effect from it. So, now it's more of the rust that you talked about. And certainly I think you have to manage expectations when guys haven't played a long time. It's the first game in a while. And there's also a psychological effect to it. And, you go out and you play, and you worry a little bit about getting hurt. No different than Robbie Fabry came to us. That's a conversation I had with Fabs. He had spent most of his NHL career in the injured reserve, and it's hard to get past that psychological part. But in order to be effective, you have to play a certain way, and ultimately I think Fabs has learned that, and he plays that way. And Bert, Larks, guys that have gone through injuries have to get into these games and get past that psychological part.
Just the last thing, Lucas Raymond, just getting an opportunity to see him as much as possible before you make a decision.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep.
Max Boltman.
Hey, Jeff, Tyler was saying he kind of expected some soreness, some flare, but as things got ramped up, was it similar for you, or did it kind of startle you?
No, it's similar. And I don't necessarily, it's not like there's lots of pieces to your body that are connected to your back. You don't know what has to do with the back surgery, what has to do with just not having skated to that level. I mean, all our guys are sore. We got a lot of guys that are, feeling it. And so then, but when you've had a major back surgery, I think you feel every little, it's like if someone around you sick, you kind of feel every little scratch in your throat and stuff like that. It's the same thing, especially because the back, everything's connected to it. So, I think there's a confidence level, as I said, from a psychological standpoint, that you have to get to, and it doesn't come easy. And I'm not in his shoes, but I know it doesn't come easy, and we're cognizant of that, and we'll let him work himself into it here. Yep.
Answer Khan.
Yeah, Jeff, Dylan said last week when he made his debut, just that first period, getting into it physically really helped him. Do you anticipate kind of a similar situation with Tyler?
Yeah, again, every guy's a little different. Every injury is a little different, but we'll see. I know, again, listen, if Tyler goes out and just like with Dylan and doesn't totally look like Tyler, just like Dylan really didn't look like Dylan in the first, I'm not going to overreact to it. It's just the reality of it, and ultimately, we want him ready for game one against Tampa a week from now. So that's what, it's like making mistakes in exhibition. That's what exhibitions are for. You have to find the areas you got to improve at, and it's no different for a player. He's got to get to a level to where he's comfortable, and so we'll work through it.
Well, who will we start the game with?
Suter and Raymond.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
Larry Lage.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
I'm great. Yourself?
I'm all right. The tracking system that the NHL had last year with players, how did you use it, whether self-scouting or looking at other teams? And now that they're doing it with pucks, what do you see doing with that, if anything? And last question on the same topic, do the pucks seem to be gliding better than they did last year when it didn't work out?
I'm not aware that we have the pucks yet, to be honest with you. And if we do, I have not heard that. So I'm not aware that we've used those pucks yet this season. I wish we would, so we can feel them. I mean, it was evident right away last year. You know, we got into, I think we had 3 games with the puck tracking, and then they had to go back. We went away from it because the puck didn't glide right. It wasn't right. Didn't feel like a real puck. So obviously that's the trick. I think puck tracking is a great thing that will really help analytics a lot when we can get that. But the puck has to feel right. You know, so obviously the puck tracking piece of it last year, we weren't able to use player tracking. We integrate with the other data that we get through a company, and then we take that data, and we've done a whole bunch of things analytically to create our own systems in which we're measuring anything from individual player stuff to team stuff. And I don't need to necessarily get into it a whole lot deeper than that, but the better the player tracking and the better the puck tracking is, the way more effective analytics can be. And so I look forward to it continuing improving. And I think the puck tracking piece is critical. We're excited about it with our analytics group. You know, we think it's going to take some of the things that we have in place and bring it to a whole nother level to be able to really accurately know what's going on with the puck, and really continue to work to integrate the player tracking into the data that we already have. Obviously, the challenge that you have with any analytics is one, taking the data and making it useful. And we've worked really hard over the last couple of years to put it into systems that we think is really useful for us as a coaching staff, that might be useful for management and decision-making across the league. And we're going to continue to work at it.
Thanks.
Last question from Ken Cal.
Yeah, hi, Jeff. You're playing a lot of preseason games, and you're playing, I think, 8 games in 11 or 12 days, something like that. Do you feel that there's too many preseason games, or would you like to see less to evaluate your talent?
Ken, you couldn't ask me this on the bus last night?
No, I had to wait.
Okay, good. You know, I play the preseason games that we're given. You know, there's challenges, Ken, you know it, with the number of preseason games that we play to get quality practice time in. But there's also benefits to it. We get a lot of looks at players, and players gain experience. You know, even, you know, I'm not necessarily treating every game of Moritz Siders as a total evaluation, but it's definitely experience. And he gets to go against guys that you didn't go against in the Swedish Hockey League. So I think, you know, playing those games is experience. And it also gives an evaluation tool. You know, I'm reminded lots that Chris Draper, after winning the Stanley Cup, played like 8 or 9 exhibition games the next season. So this isn't anything new necessarily. Certainly it's changed over the years, and there's less exhibitions than there used to be, and the time frame is a little more condensed, but we'll play whatever exhibition games are scheduled. And it's not really my decision whether we play more or less.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for us this morning. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.